Has expired.
When's the change?
Order on both sides. Order. Senator Carr.
Thank you, Mr President. My question is to the Minister for Vocational Education and Skills, Senator Ryan. I refer to the Turnbull government's secret plan for a federal takeover of the vocational education system. Can the minister confirm that the Turnbull government has proposed the deregulation of TAFE fees and cuts to TAFE funding, measures that would result in higher fees and more debts for students?
The Minister for Vocational Education and Skills, Senator Ryan.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, Senator Wong, I didn't hear that. Thank you, Mr President, and I thank Senator Carr for that question. As Senator Carr would be aware, the White Paper into reform of the Australian Federation is a long-standing process that commenced a couple of years ago. And at the Leaders' Retreat that was held last July, a number of discussions were held around potential clarification of responsibilities. Following that, in good faith, the Commonwealth and the states, governments of both persuasions, have undertaken work around potential changes to various constitutional and responsibility arrangements. Following that, papers were circulated, prepared by officials, and were circulated as in the normal course of events. And those discussions will continue at the coming COAG meeting, which I understand is going to be in April.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Carr, supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr President. Well, given your answer that the government has undertaken work, has the government also undertaken or commissioned any analysis of the impact of deregulating vocational education on TAFE as proposed by the Coalition's secret plan? Can the minister guarantee that federal funding for TAFE will not be cut under the Turnbull government's vocational education agenda?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr President. Thank you, Senator Carr. Without getting into the pejorative phrasing you used in this question, because it simply is based on a false premise, I, as you understand, having been sworn in last week, am not confidently saying what all work might have been undertaken. But if it was to be a secret, I can tell you this, Senator Carr, I wouldn't circulate it via officials to state governments, where certain state governments tend to make it land in certain newspapers very quickly. So I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to respond to your pejorative language. This is a well-known public process where officials have been working on serious matters of reforming the Australian Federation that will actually give the electorate and give people a more direct sense of responsibility over who is responsible for what functions and what policy areas.
Thank you, Minister. Final supplementary question, Senator Carr.
Speaking of state governments, I refer to the comments by the New South Wales Minister for Skills and Industry, Mr John Barillo, who said that the Abbott-Turnbull government has, and I quote, made errors that I would not have ever believed from a government. If the government's own state colleagues don't trust this government with education, why should Australian families?
Minister.
Well, Senator Carr, given the mess this government inherited with the legislation your government passed on vet fee help, which has seen the most extraordinary rate of growth I've ever seen in a Commonwealth program, where it was 100% for a couple of years. Given that that was your legislation, and given that, well, Senator Wong, I'm sorry, I'll make comments on your pose next time you're at the microphone as well. I'm sure you'll take those comments very well, as you often
Order.
do. So, Senator Carr,
Order on both
Senator
sides.
Carr, I am. It takes a lot for you to call someone a precious, Senator.
Order. Address the question,
Senator Carr, Senator Carr, as a minister in this government, I am not going to respond to selective uses of quotes. We will stand up for the Australian taxpayer and for the role of the Commonwealth in the vocational education sector. And as I've spent the last 4 days doing, I'll spend the next 6 months cleaning up a lot of the messes you left.